Hello, everybody. My name is Tim, and welcome to another episode of Tim Talks. The show that's only partially a show really is just an excuse for me to talk to some of my very talented friends. And speaking of talented friends, I have another one here with me today. Her name is Candice, also known as @VictoriaCandies on Twitter. Candies, I always do that. Or Bunny. Hello, dear. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing good.
Good. I love your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a good old RT plug there. Touch my awesome button.
Oh, I love this shirt.
When'd you pick that up?
It was actually the very first shirt I bought from the RT store.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of very first things, you do a lot of artist work for Rooster Teeth and for yourself, really, more so than anything. Let's start there. And that has been sort of picked up over time as people have discovered your style. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your work?
I don't know where to start, really. I started drawing Rooster Teeth stuff 8 months ago. Actually a couple weeks before my birthday, because I found out about them towards the end of July, I believe. Okay. And then, as I started getting more and more into them, I just wanted to draw them, and I was like, okay, why not? And I drew them.
Who introduced you to them?
Tumblr, actually.
Huh.
I was scrolling around, and I saw Michael's Rage Quit video, and fell in love instantly.
Another fellow artist, incidentally, Tora. What's her? Do you know her Twitter handle right off the top of your head?
Tora Olds.
Oh, yeah, there it is, and I would put a little thing over there. And yeah, she's an amazing artist, too, and you and her and people like Tuxedo Mob and all of these artists who have just sort of taken to drawing via inspiration. It's just fascinating. And so you heard of Rooster Teeth and started drawing them, go on?
Yeah, and I started drawing them, and as I just continued, a lot of people liked it, because on Tumblr, there wasn't, when I started 8 months ago, there wasn't a lot of art of them. If there was, it was just like doodles on sketchbooks and pictures that they had drawn during school or something. So I was just like, man, this tag could use more art, like some of the other anime or cartoon tags that I've seen around. So I was just like, I'm going to start contributing. So I'd put out a picture here, there, and then I started drawing them constantly. So it was 3 pictures a day, and as people started seeing this, more artists started coming in, they started drawing them, and it just became lovely. And then I got convinced to, by my friends to actually try and tweet it to them, so, yeah.
Well, while it's always best to believe in oneself, a little help from the outside can be a great blessing.
Yeah.
Because I will say, your art is worthy of being posted up there for people to see, because it's and throughout this entire conversation, as we kind of reference one piece or another, you'll see it cut in, and I'll do it kind of neat. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
So, when did you start drawing? Period, because you didn't just start with Rooster Teeth, I'd imagine.
Yeah, when I started drawing, I was actually preschool age.
Wow.
And I guess everyone's like, oh yeah, I drew as a little kid. No, I fell in love with drawing in preschool age because my stepdad would, when he watched me, he would do projects with me. And we would basically take poster board and markers and crayons and just draw these big pieces. And my mom would she still has some of them in the basement even.
Parenting done right.
So as I got older and started getting more into anime and stuff, I remember the first time I wanted to draw something serious was in 5th grade, and I started drawing Sonic characters and Inuyasha characters, and I was just God.
Whatever the inspiration was, it happened to be around at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, would you consider yourself kind of influenced by that Western animation style?
I used to be, but not so much anymore. I still kind of am slightly, but I'm more influenced by Disney and other artists that I see on Tumblr and other artists that I respect.
Right. Because I noticed that on a lot of your pictures, you do a lot of play on the juxtaposition between kind of real-ish models versus the chibi models that you do. There's a great picture of I want to say it's maybe Ray and or Michael and Gavin, and they're shirtless about to fight or whatever, and it's in real, and then the frame below it is them slap fighting in chibi, and it's very cute. And it kind of accentuates that point.
I like doing stuff like that. Now, the real reason I actually do the little chibis at the bottom instead of something realistic is more so because I get really lazy after drawing the big models up top. And it's really nice to just, relax, doodle something really cute at the bottom to continue it. And apparently a lot of people like it. It shows the silliness of all of it.
Yeah, it really does. And there was if I remember right, if I could find it, yes, aha. There was a little picture that you drew that was actually a guide to how to draw the little pictures that you draw. And it was really neat. It kind of showed all the various brushes and things. Do you remember that picture that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I was asked to draw a Chibi tutorial, and for the life of me, I don't know how to do a tutorial because actually the way I draw changes from day to day. It's whatever makes me satisfied, really.
Sorry, I'm just reading it over here. Over here to my right. Let's see. And it talks about how to make the circle head and the block bodies and action lines and all that good stuff. And it's actually a very thorough guide. It's something you would find in your how to draw a manga book from Barnes & Noble or something.
I found it I figured that I really should mention the action lines just because, I don't know, not until recently that I start hearing about them and looking for information about them, and they're really important. You never think about it, the spine of the picture, but if you draw a picture, then the person's curved like this, and you have the head right here, and you have the body following that line, it makes it so much easier to draw action, like someone slamming a hammer or someone doing something silly, because they can move instead of starting off with just a circle and body, because that's more stiff.
Yeah. And then you can kind of reverse engineer backwards from your action to the body that would, the hammer is connected to the wrist bone's connected to the elbow, and you just go back on up until suddenly you have a full person smacking someone in the head with a hammer. Yeah. So, what equipment do you use now that you've kind of transitioned out of paper media to digital?
I actually use, I have it right here, my tablet. It's a Bamboo Create, and it's very handy, and I actually just got it for Christmas this past year, because my father's a very, very nice man.
Yeah. And I've never actually gotten a chance to play with one of those before. I'm very jealous.
This is the pen, and since the bottom isn't an eraser anymore, I normally it ends up in my mouth. But I used to have a Bamboo Fun, which only cost $100 4 years ago, and it was as my mom says, the best usage of money she's ever done, because I use it constantly.
And so your parents are then very supportive of what you do?
Yes, my parents are very proud of me and tell me every day.
Good. No, that's something you should really be glad for, because unfortunately, that's a rarity nowadays.
Yeah.
So so then they help you with school and stuff like that too? Yeah.
I try to be conscious about them, because right now I'm taking general classes just so that I can move on to art school and not have to take any bum classes while I'm there in expensive land.
Right.
So I'm okay, well, let me focus on getting the prerequisites out of the way, but they're just no, take this art class, take this class, take that class. If you want to do it, just do it. You just gotta let us know. And I'm just
wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's actually incredibly impressive that they would just press you to go ahead and follow what you want to do now instead of putting it off and kind of making what would be considered the smart play.
To be honest, as long as I'm happy and educated, I don't think they really care what field I decided to jump into, which makes me really happy.
Fair point. And so what officially are you studying in school?
Right now,
in college, I should say.
I want to study character design and animation, but right now just general studies to get out of community college.
Fair enough. And so right now you just do static images, but you want to get into animation as well.
And
Go ahead.
Sorry, animation. When I was little, I always wanted to make people happy, and the way I was happy was watching cartoons. Actually, my TV's right there.
Oh yeah. I've had that conversation with many people about cartoons are amazing, and they're a venerable source of storytelling material, and they should never ever be discounted as for children.
Yes, and they're memorable. When you think back, you remember Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, and people who liked drawing sat down, thought of those characters, drew them out, created them, gave them personality, and just that's what I want to do. I want to create something memorable, something that people enjoy, which is
right. Absolutely. And so let's get back to some of the inspiration for some of these drawings. You do a lot from various Let's Plays and things of that nature, and the videos that the Rooster Teeth people put up. There was one from the Surgeon Simulator 2013. The Dr. Jones and Dr. Free series, as it were.
Yeah, God, that was hilarious. I enjoyed drawing that piece. Like, at first I had no idea what to draw for that, because, like, on Tumblr, everyone's so quick to the draw. Everyone's like, oh, new video, I'm gonna post about it, I'm gonna, like, spoil it, I'm gonna say this about it, I'm gonna draw stuff from it.
Quick to the draw, no pun intended.
Just, they're really fast, and I'm like, well, I don't really think I can add more. And so,
right.
The next day I was just like, you know what, screw it. So I draw them, like, I drew something I hadn't seen before, which was them getting high off of the drug, and...
Yeah.
I got down to the chibis and I was coloring their eyes, and I was just messing around, which is how a lot of the funnier ideas come about. And I colored their eyes pink and purple, and I was like, what would be something stupid to say involving colors? And I can see the colors of the wind.
That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I was trying to remember where they actually said that at one point or another, and you know what? It didn't matter.
Nope.
It didn't matter because I could hear it in their voice. I mean, and that's kind of the point that you get across here is some of the things that you draw may not necessarily be things that happen, but they're definitely things that could happen.
Yeah, speaking of that, there was one picture I drew of Gavin as Luigi and Ray as Toad from one of their Let's Plays, and Gavin's like, I can't get it up, I can't get up there, and nobody said this, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, I hear it in Ray's voice. That sounds like a personal problem. And I had to draw it. And
so, do you think that's kind of part of the reason why these people, some of the people that do, like, the Game Grumps animated and the Achievement Hunter animated, is that part of the, do they kind of fill in the gaps?
I think sometimes, like, you know, you don't see what they're doing personally while they're behind, like, the characters that they're playing. So it's like, you can take what they're doing, you can make it funnier, you can add stuff in the backgrounds that, you know, you'll notice, like, be like, oh yeah, that's funny, like little jokes, and like flesh it out a little bit more. Or like, if you draw the person, like, say it's just a voice and you're animating the person rather than just like what they're doing, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. Oh no, it's always more fun to come up with something from imagination than if they had, say, just face cams on them at all time, because then there's no imagination there. There's no conceal and reveal. There's no fun that comes along with it because you just see it. And so, yeah, it is a lot more interesting to kind of use the imagination and dress them up in the costumes that they were supposed to be wearing and you know, raise tuxedo mask everywhere. So, you know, Team Lads versus Team Lasses. It's one thing after another that just sort of inspires wonderfulness, for lack of a better term. And so you would consider yourself then still learning every day.
Very much so. Always.
Yeah.
A chicken nugget.
Well, it's fine, dear. What's something that you would consider you have just recently picked up?
What do you mean by picked up?
Like, what's a skill you just learned?
Probably how to better do noses.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I had a really tough time drawing noses where I can't even remember what I did. I just found a way to easily just do them, and after a while when I do stuff like the lazy way, I'm just like, I just don't like it anymore. And when I start not liking something, I start not liking like everything about it, and so then I just have to absolutely change it.
Yeah, and then you start to pick apart every minute detail, and it's like, oh god, it kills you. It kills you just a little bit inside.
It really does. And that's why my style changes so much. It'll go back eventually, but it changes so much because after a while of drawing one way, I get bored and I'm like, I just don't like this anymore. I gotta try something new, and I do, and I like it, and I get back into a little good area where I'm just throwing art everywhere.
And it's fun to come up with new ideas and new places to go, and just saying, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try a whole new list of filters and technical specs that I've never even tried before, and I'm probably going to end up scrapping whatever it is that I make, but it'll be something new and different, something that I haven't tried before.
Yeah, that's 90% of the process.
Yeah, I mean, there are probably, I don't know, 30 videos in After Effects that I've tried to make here and there, just learning that program, and none of them will ever see the light of day.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're all just stuff I've stolen from one thing or another, so there's no way I could ever post them online. But it's practice. Right. how do you get a little cut in here so if I ever do like a newsy type program, I could be able to point to something over here without having to have a camera pan or something like that. You know, it's oh, goodness gracious.
It's a lot of work, but it's fun when you look back and you're like, yeah, gosh, I got that new trick. Like, one thing that's kind of like that I love doing, which makes it hard to do tutorials and tell people how I draw things, is my brush settings. On side, there are a multitude of things you can do with a brush, because everything is different in a very minute way depending on how much you change it. And a lot of the times, I just use straight lines, but they're softer than, like, I would use a pen, because I use the airbrush on hard, rather than just a regular pen. And I can make it vibrant, I can make it fuzzy, I can make it look like a brush. There's so many different things that if I change it, my whole style is going to change, because the brush looks different.
It's true. There's some pictures that were kind of older on the Tumblr that I noticed were outlined more as if they were drawn with colored pencil, because you can kind of tell there's a little bit of it's not really, it's the reverse of stippling. It's the white parts that get left out from a pencil that can't cover all the bumps of a page. And then in some of the later stuff, it's definitely outlined much more in solid pen, what one would consider inky.
It just whatever floats my boat at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's neat to certainly see an evolution. That's you know, anything if nothing else. And so, how does doing digital art compared to doing the physical? Do you still do physical drawing, physical painting?
I do from time to time. Actually, whenever I can't draw on tablet, because for some reason after a while it's just, I don't feel like sitting up, I don't feel like looking at my computer, I don't feel like using hand-eye coordination. I just pick up my pen and a book and just start drawing. Somewhere around here, is this one of them? Like, I'm sitting on my bed right now, but my tablet pen just fell. I have, like, notebooks like this, like, just random notebooks that I keep scattered everywhere, full of drawings.
Well, as artists are wont to do. I mean, I have my green notebook over here that's full of every comedic idea I've ever had. I mean, if this thing ever got gone, I would be devastated.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So I know exactly what you mean.
I still have drawings from like 6th grade in a binder somewhere in this room.
I love indulging art in all of its forms. I'm not really excelled in any other area except maybe I consider myself excelled in performance, but guess what? Everyone down there is going to tell me how horrible I am. But, you know, I've always been a fairly decent drawer, artist, you know, because I enjoy it at the very least. And I feel like even if you're not the best, if you can still derive some sort of joy, some sort of something from it, some sort of emotional release, that's the purpose of art.
Yeah. Like, I remember in humanities class a while ago, we had to define art, and all I said was, it's undefinable.
I mean, yeah, it absolutely is.
As long as, like, I don't know, like, I see a lot of people, this is kind of trailing off a little bit, but I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I want to be famous, I want to do this, that, and the other, and I'm not gonna lie, at some point when I was, like, years ago in middle school, I was like, man, I wish I was like some of these people who have all these people that love them and want to be like them and are like, yeah, this person's cool. Like, I want to be like that one day. And, you know, if you try too much at it, like, I mean, if you keep trying, eventually I guess you'll succeed, but like, I found that when I just kept trying for that, it was just ever eluding me. And then... yeah. Then I just started... Then when I started drawing Rooster Teeth, I was just doing this for fun. Like, for reals fun. I really just love drawing them and making expressions and stuff. And then, whoa, what do you know? I'm here.
And people can tell. I mean, people can tell when you're open and honest and just doing things because you enjoy them. I mean, that's why I do this show. It's because I wanted to make new friends. I mean, I don't get out very much. I work a hell of a lot. And so this is a really nice way to get to catch up with people who I haven't talked to in a long time, in the cases of like James and Caleb and Dylon and so on and so forth. Or getting a chance to make new friends in the case of you or Grady. You know, exactly. It's just a wonderful chance. And so when you do something like that, and the Let's Play videos that I do with all of my friends and my neighbors who do lawn mowing at inconvenient hours, And when you do all of those things, and people can tell that it's just because you want to do them and not because you're seeking some sort of recognition. And then on top of that, you put in the polish and the work and the hours and the labor that would go into someone who just wants to be like that. It's sort of a win-win combination.
Yeah.
It's the down-to-earth attitude and the technical skill combined.
Right. And also I think, like, as soon as I think of it, it leaves my head. I feel that it's like, it's going to leave my head again and again and again. It's going to irritate me because I'm not going to remember. But you can tell when people are, like, they're trying too hard. And they're just like, blah. But, there it is. It came back. But, even if people don't like what you're doing, if you love it, then what does that even matter?
Yeah. I mean, that's the most amazing thing about the internet. Your audience will find you. If you do what you love just because you do what you love, people who love what you do will find you.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the damned well other. As long as you do it long enough. I mean, but that's kind of the crux of the argument, is how long is long enough. And it's, well, until you're freaking successful. How bad do you want it?
Yeah. And, like, sometimes it just hits you. Like, freaking... I feel like I had just, like, I graduated high school last year, and then all my friends left, I was home by myself, and then I'm like, wow, these people are cool, I want to draw them. And now it's like, some of them I'm friends with, and it's like, it's a pretty cool person, I want to hang out with this person when I go to Texas, and yeah.
Oh, you just said the magic words. That trip is coming up very shortly. So for those who don't know, get out from underneath the rock you've been living under. Bunny and I will both be attending RTX, as well as all of the other people. Wow, all of the other people I've talked to so far. And it's going to be one hell of a trip. I'm going for an entire 2 freaking weeks.
I'm so excited.
Oh my god! And so it's the Rooster Teeth Expo. It takes place in Austin, Texas, from the 4th through the
5th through the 8th.
Yeah, that's right. The 5th through the 8th. My apologies. They're having I think RT SideQuest is doing their fireworks show / charity auction the 4th, the night before, so that way we can still watch the fireworks show down at the Hilton.
Yes, I'll be at the Hilton.
Oh yeah. That's where they're having a charity auction too, which you should definitely go to if you have the option to. But so RTX is going to be 3 days of amazingness. They've teased a whole bunch of people who are going to be there, and have teased that there are a whole bunch more that they are not ready to announce yet. I mean, people from the people who make the MakerBot, with the 3D, the commercial 3D printer, to the premiere of Ruby, the isn't the premiere of
the first episode, right?
No, I was thinking about season 11, but that's before then. That's in a couple weeks.
Oh, that's exciting.
And then the Behemoth is going to be there doing with Castle Crashers and Battle Block Theater and just who the hell knows who else. They have a whole other day to fill up stuff, twice as many people to entertain. And I get to work as a guardian. I know. I'm so excited.
The only thing cool I get to do is not the only thing. The entire weekend's gonna be cool. Yeah. But like, I'm helping Tuxedo Mob with his panel, and that'll be loads of fun.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
What panel is he doing? Are you allowed to say? I
am. I assume so because we talk about it all the time.
We're close enough now. Why not?
He's doing an how to animate panel.
Okay.
And to like fill up time or to like start it off, me and him are gonna dance, and it's gonna be fun.
Tuxedo Mob, for those who don't know, is the gentleman who does the Achievement Hunter animated, which was inspired by the Rooster Teeth animated adventures. And
I'm sorry.
He does them. No, it's okay. He does them based mostly off the Let's Plays and all of those, whereas the Rooster Teeth animated adventure is done mainly for the podcast, and we'll have a little cut in over there of those. But he does an amazing job, man. I remember seeing the first one when it popped up on the subreddit, just out of nowhere. Completely blindsided everyone.
I remember when I first saw it, and I think it was retweeted by one of the guys. And I was like, wow, what is this? Man, I want to animate. I'll never be like him. And now we're friends. And the first time I tried doing anything animation-wise was that Guy Love video. And, like, I think one of the first things he said to me was, like, so, you're going to take over the Achievement Hunter animated, right? And I'm like, no.
I mean, you know, maybe eventually.
God, I tried working with Flash. It's a demon. It's a demon all in itself.
Yeah, a little bit. But, you know, I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than having to draw a cell and then put the cell on the rotoscope and then pull it all the way down and then have to take the picture and then move it and put it on the new cell. And
yeah, and it is a lot easier than drawing frame by frame by frame in one program, having to save each layer as a file and then transporting all of that into Windows Movie Maker, which is why there is not another video like that on my channel.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I know that there's things you can do in After Effects with, like, puppet work and things of that nature, but even then, that's not quite the same as just doing straight-up Flash animation.
Yeah.
There's something a little bit more smooth about it, which obviously is because you just, you know, create it literally from scratch. You have the freedom to do frames and in-between frames and in-between the in-between frames. I mean, it's crazy.
It's, when I think about animation, it's only a pain in the ass because you have to do so much and think about every subtle movement and draw it. The pain in the, like, if you
the devil's in the details. That's literally where the expression came from.
And, like, if you do, like, you start off with, like, your major movements. Like, if you were going to do a blink, you would just be like, all right, eyes open, eyes close, eyes open. And then comes the tweening, or I forget the word for it, where you go back through.
I think tweening is the word.
And you go through the middle part and just add everything else of the eyes slowly opening and slowly closing.
Yeah. And
blinking is not surprisingly, it's very easy. And so is talking. Talking is easier than I expected it to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically a blink of the mouth, if you will, as far as animation terms go, because it's just open and close.
They can be, unless you try to make it look like they're actually talking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I tried to do because I had a guide on, like, what mouths look like when they open and make certain vowel sounds and consonant sounds. And that was just fun. Very repetitive, but fun, because you find yourself going, because you're just
and
slowly
just
going
frame by frame by frame by frame. And you get kind of in that zombie mode where you get the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, that happens when drawing, too, because, like, if I'm drawing someone sad, I'll be just, like, making their face or going, Like, there have been times where if I draw someone crying, I usually end up crying, and I don't know why. My mom will come in the room, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing, I'm drawing, oh, yeah.
But that was something I wanted to ask you about. How do you come up with the expressions? I mean, that's kind of my biggest hurdle when it comes to drawing things, is I know how I look when I do things, but it's hard for me to translate the picture that I have in my head to my hand.
Well, taking the few art classes that I have taken so far, I've drawn, like, they make you draw lots and lots of faces and human models, and once you get, like, the skeletal idea in your head of what a face should look like, everything else just kind of falls in like clockwork. It's like there's a way that everything lines up, eyes, nose, mouth, and then you can just look at, like, I usually Google, like, rage face, and, like, I drew a picture of Michael screaming because I was exceedingly angry.
That was just the one that I was specifically going to ask you about.
And I drew that picture because I get so many annoying questions, and, you know, not really questions, but just, like, pop-ups and answers. And since my TweetDeck is always on, it's like, bloop, oh, there it goes now. Just bloop, I'm popping up with an annoying message of how you didn't draw Gavin's nose big enough. And I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
okay, I know you're trying to be funny, but 3,000 times in, not funny.
No, of course not. But, well, I mean, everyone thinks that they are the most clever person to have ever come up with that joke that you have never heard before. Oh, God.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, that's a part of it. At least they're engaging with you.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to take it with the grain of salt that you do. I mean, you clearly just said you do.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know what's going to happen. As soon as I post a picture, I usually expect something to be said that's probably going to irritate me. But very rarely does it actually get me angry like the comment that was said did that night. And the only reason it got me so mad is because it didn't make any sense logically. Like, that just bothers me. I'm just like, where's your brain right now? Obviously not in your head.
Well, we talked about it earlier. You're a bit of a perfectionist.
Yes.
Which, I mean, so am I. And so when someone accuses you of not being perfect, when you have clearly taken every... I mean, seriously, you wouldn't put it out on the internet if you had not done your due diligence.
Triple checked.
I mean, like, quadruple checked.
Yeah.
And then some. So, I mean, to then say, oh, you missed a spot, it's kind of like, flipping the table.
Basically. To be honest, what was said was I drew a picture of Jack, and I was very proud of it because I cannot draw beards.
Uh-huh.
And so when I drew the picture of him, and it looked really nice, I was really ecstatic that I got his beard right, and I felt that I drew it well. And then...
What was the picture?
It was a picture on my Tumblr not Tumblr, my Twitter that I tweeted to Jack. And it was just a picture, like, it was just, like, literally a bust shot. It didn't even show his torso. And it was just his face, because I wanted to practice beards. And someone told me, they said, you know, Jack isn't that skinny. You should make everything larger. And I'm literally like, it's his face. It's his face and his neck. What do you want me to make larger? He's not obese. And, like, I was so upset because Jack is so sweet. I'm just like, ah! And so I drew Michael screaming, and going back to the expression, I was literally rage-facing, and I could just feel the emotion on my face flow out of my hands and right onto his.
I understand.
Made me feel loads better.
I think I see a little bit clearer now. God, that's the audacity of some people.
Yeah, but you know, you see it coming with how much like random stupid ass comments that other people get and that artists get,
it's
that
true.
The guys get. Like the whole fiasco with the Let's Plays when it's like, oh yeah, when's this coming out? It's like, wait, oh my gosh,
yeah, really.
But
anytime anyone accuses someone else of cheating, stop the bullying.
I could go on forever.
One damn thing is the other. Yeah,
right.
And again, people think that they're being clever and original and endearing,
or but that they're being like justice.
They try. And you know, you have to at least get not quite as upset.
I just took a breather because I was going to respond to this person, but I was doing my hand like I had a stress ball. And I was just like, it's okay. You know, they're just probably trying to give you some advice and not be mean or crude and just take it.
At least they're not apathetic.
Very true.
At least they didn't see your work and go, click.
I suppose.
Any response is better than no response at all in my book.
I suppose so.
But then again, I'm a masochist. So whenever somebody says something like that to me, it never really bothers me because I'm my own worst critic. I mean, seriously, whenever a thing goes wrong, I lost an episode of Portal 2 a little bit back, I thought I was going to vomit.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, my stomach fell out when I realized that the episode was just completely gone and there was nothing I could do about it. And I don't want to lie to people and be like, oh, we're going to go back in and play it. This is the first time we played it.
Yeah.
Because that's just, I've never lied to people before. Why I start now. And so my stomach sank.
Oh, I understand.
And so I'm my own worst critic. So anything anybody ever says to me, I probably either thought it, said it, or have had it said to me already.
Yeah. I think every artist, every person is their own worst critic. Because deep down, no one can pick out your flaws more than you can.
I think that's a very excellent point.
Because, I know, and this is very true, because I've, tried to see it fall out in person. I do not consider myself popular, famous, important in the least bit. I just like drawing stuff and putting it out there. But then, I see things, that I do that might put people off, in my streams. For some reason, in my streams, I don't know whether it's nerves that I just don't pay attention to, or the fact that I drink 12 sodas, that I constantly, burp and squeak and squawk when I draw, and everyone finds it endearing. I find it gross, but okay.
It's personality. I mean, it's different. It's unique. You can go to anybody's channel and see them having to play a game or draw a pretty picture, but people come to see your channel specifically because they want to see you. You know, people go to, what's your Twitch channel?
YouTube, VictoriaCandies, just like my Twitter.
Yeah, youtube.com/VictoriaCandies to see you, which you should totally do, incidentally. I mean, and you know, you get out there, you advertise yourself like a shameless whore, and eventually people start to come, and they tell their friends, oh, hey, there's this girl, Bunny, who's drawing an amazing picture of the Rooster Teeth guys. You want to come watch her draw it? And then you end up having like 3 or 4 other people in the channel with you that are talking with you on Skype, and they have something entertaining to watch suddenly.
Yeah, it's fun. It really is, and I love doing it. And I like when people are like, oh, when are you streaming again? When are you doing this again? Like, it's because that I have so much fun doing it that they last as long as they do, even though I try not to. It always happens. And then I'd usually fall asleep afterwards because I'm like, nope, I'm done for the day.
Well, I mean, you get started drawing and then you get distracted. Somebody says something about Gavin and you get distracted. Yep, there it is. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It's everyone's favorite thing to do, actually. Because behind a computer screen, I hide my reactions very well with typing. As soon as you can hear me and see my face, it just all falls apart.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's much more fun to wear your emotions on your sleeve anyway, especially in a visual media like this, because like I realized that was kind of part of the trick to it. It's especially when you're doing like Let's Play videos and things of that nature by yourself, when you don't have anyone else to play off of. Mm-hmm. It's getting that inner monologue that runs in your head all the time as you're running through the level. Mm-hmm. It's getting that out.
I think Michael does that very well, I might add.
Yes, absolutely. Because everyone has the same thoughts and makes the same jokes. It's stuff when it comes up. It's the people who can actually get that out of their mouths and not just
think it.
that actually, you know, have some sort of chance of doing something. And you know, yes, that does take a certain level of talent, but really does it though?
Just takes a little bit of courage, I'd say. Because sometimes, or at least I know from personal experience,
fair.
Is you say things in your head, but then you're like, you know, people might not find this funny. People might find it crude or crass. I know I feel that way a lot. Being that I'm a girl, people might see me as, oh, she needs a tiny little soft-spoken girl, might I add.
Right.
Just, people might assume that, oh, she's quiet, oh, she's shy, oh, she's this, that, and the other. And then the first thing they see when they come to my stream or hear really is me belching like an animal, and it's just like, well, who is this? So.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true, but.
But that's just because I have to warm up, and then after I've warmed up and I've already started acting silly, why stop? It's just going to keep falling out.
Absolutely. And it's that, like I said, it's that personality and that silliness that keeps people coming back, because they can watch anyone who is talented just sit there and draw a picture without saying anything. But it's the engagement, it's the conversation, it's the personality that people come back for.
And the banter.
Yes, absolutely so. I wish more people would learn that.
They will, in time.
So, you're very much into art and things of that nature. What else do you like to do?
Sleep and eat.
That is a very fair pursuance.
But I also like to play video games. I keep looking over, because everything video game, artistic, entertainment-wise is in my bedroom if it's mine. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I have my TV over there, my Wii, my Xbox, my GameCube, my PS2, and I even still have my old Super Nintendo it's in my mom's room since it's not plugged into my TV, but I still have that, and I'd still have my PlayStation if I wasn't nice as a child and gave it to someone who didn't have a PlayStation or PlayStation 2. But I kept,
Aww.
my aunt had one and my cousin had one, and I got both of them. So I gave both of them away and kept like a game for myself that I really liked, and I just played on the PS2 because it's backwards compatible.
Well, I mean, yeah, which is definitely going the way of the dodo here shortly, which is unfortunate. But anyway, I get it back to away from topical type stuff. So then you do, like I said, a lot of artwork. You do play video games a lot. Are you a big movie buff?
I see movies from time to time. I only go out and see movies if there's something really pressing out there that my friends want to see. I think the
chainsaw. A chainsaw? Really?
The last movie that I actually left my house to see was Les Mis last year, and that's because, all my friends were in town. We all went to see it. We liked it.
Ah, yes, you went and saw Les Mis, the movie where they sing everything they talk.
I love it.
I love the show. I mean, being a big old theater kid, I love Les Mis, but really, that movie.
That movie. God.
That movie. Just go back. Just go watch the original version.
I did. Actually, that was the inspiration to... Actually, at first, I did not want to have anything to do with Les Mis, to be honest. Because that year before, I took French class. So I watched the old version, the original movie version first there. Mm-hmm. I had to sing it in choir. I had to help others sing it in choir. And then I had to watch it in English for our senior year as well. And all of those classes were back-to-back on the same day.
Huh.
So it was like an entire 3 weeks of Les Mis.
That would scramble my brain.
I had to write an essay on it in English, French, and then sing it, and I was done. I didn't want anything else to do with it.
Talk about switching gears midstream. I mean, it's hard enough to get your brain to do 2 things at once, but 3.
Mm-hmm. But
and so the reason why I asked that, it wasn't just a random question. I noticed that one of your drawings of Gavin was inspired by Doctor Who.
Yes.
So you obviously have much more nerdy interests just outside of video games.
Okay, yeah, I should probably mention I went to I've been going to conventions for the past 6 years, anime conventions. I have an entire bookshelf full of anime and manga, and I love watching Doctor Who. And I have an entire stack of comic books chilling on my bookshelf as well.
It's certainly a great damn show. What can I say? Did you hear about Matt Smith?
Yes, I did.
Oh boy. That should be fun.
It should. I'm excited.
Well, I mean, every Doctor has its time. Yeah. I was incredibly sad to see David Tennant go, but
yes. But I'm pretty sure the next one will be just as great.
Oh, of course. A friend of mine, my roommates and I had a discussion that it should totally be Liam Neeson. So that way he can just be like, you got to get underneath the TARDIS.
Speaking of Doctor Who, I've seen a lot on Tumblr, and I've drawn a couple of times, where people are like, what if Gavin was the 12th Doctor, because, he's British. I mean, And there's a gif running around somewhere of a TARDIS floating through space, and it says tease it under it, and I'm just like, you're really taking this idea and running with it.
Well, I mean, your picture in and of itself has Ray wearing the Dalek helmet and spraying Gavin with a water gun. So, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
Everybody has their taste in humor. And it's wonderful. It really is wonderful. I mean, that, like I said, is the most amazing thing about it, because you're going to find people who enjoy what you do, like me, and who are going to want to talk to you about what you do, like me, and then you end up on a show like this one.
They're fun.
So, speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're about ready to round out our show for today. And as I am wont to do, I have always enjoyed the Actor Studio's method of ending on a series of questions. So, I too have reappropriated the Proust Personality Questionnaire.
Cool.
And it goes a little something like this. Bunny, what's your favorite word?
My favorite word? Bubbly.
What's your least favorite word?
I never thought about it. Probably retching.
Okay.
I don't like vomiting, so.
I understand. So, yeah, hemetophobes around. What can I say? Let's see. What hero or heroine do you identify with the most?
Identify with? The cartoon Teen Titans, Starfire.
Ah, good choice. Very, very good choice. That was a Tara Strong voice, if I remember right. Yeah. No. Her
Raven,
and Raven. Yeah. God, So much talent in one small
I
package.
know. She's so amazing.
One small bubbles type package. And what villain or villainous?
Villain or villainous? My favorite villain is Venom from Spider-Man. And Gambit.
I can take that one. What turns you on, either creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Music. I have to say. Music has the biggest sway over my emotions. You play a sad song, I'm probably going to be sad for the rest of the day.
And do you listen while you draw?
Always. Actually, if I can't draw, I will listen to music and just draw whatever to it. Those drawings usually don't get seen, though, because...
Right. Well, that's a fun way to indulge just your floaty creative side. That blob that just sort of floats in the ether. The Plato's chair, if you will.
Yeah, it gets you out of the kind of, like, rut. Like, because I draw, like, Rooster Teeth constantly, sometimes I'm like, should I really be drawing this? And then if I listen to music, I just draw whatever I want. And if it happens to be them, then whatever.
Damn Skippy. And what turns you off?
Rudeness and meanness. That's just unprecedented. Like, I can understand if someone kicked your puppy and you were upset. I don't understand if someone accidentally, like, bumped into you and was like, I'm sorry, and you're like, get out of my face. It's just like, unnecessary.
Yeah. No, I can absolutely feel you there. Uncalled for rudeness is that's annoying.
Yeah.
What other talent, other than the ones you're obviously gifted with, would you like to have?
I wish... Oh, well, shit. I try my hardest to become good at the things I really like doing. Like, aside from drawing, I know how to cook. I've taken, like, vocal lessons. I know how to sing. And I've taken drama lessons, so I have a field in acting, and I've taken dance and creative writing. I guess the only other things... I'm not, like, awesome at them, but, like, to say I wish I had that skill, I'd have to say probably photography and learning more about acting, I'd say.
Right. Well, thankfully, those are mostly vocals that you can kind of get by experience. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck!
There you go. That's my girl. That's my favorite one, too. It's such a multifaceted word.
Unfortunately, I can't say it as much with the 5-year-old running around downstairs that repeats everything I say.
They are little squawk boxes.
They are, and like...
I have a little cousin that's about at that age, and so I'm kind of having to really be careful.
Yeah, every time I go downstairs, stub your toe, freak nuggets.
Fiddle-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-ah-ah. Yeah.
And it's really funny because sometimes I'll slip up and I'll be like, hi.
Those are always the best.
Unfortunately, like, the two worst ones, fucking shit, are, like, my favorites because they're really easy to say and they come out so quickly.
Yeah. It's true. They feel nice in your mouth.
Do.
What sound or noise do you love?
Do I love laughter. I mean, lots of people I love baby laughter, but any kind of laughter, to be honest, as long as it's, like, real. Fake laughs I can tell, like, almost immediately, but, like, a real laugh and, like, a squeak,
oh God,
just
then I'm in
love
trouble.
it.
Right. No, it's fun. I mean, just to see someone convulse and just lose control. Again, speaking of my little baby cousin, that boy is so cute. He is 2.5 years old. He'll be 3 here in August. And when he thinks something is really funny, like just really uproariously hilarious, he literally doubles over in laughter and covers his hands and laughs. I mean, it's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. And I've seen the internet. What sound or noise do you hate?
Funny enough, paper touching. Like, when you turn a page. Just hate it so much.
I wonder if that has anything to do with why you've chosen digital media.
Slightly, because keep turning the page. Like, if it got to the point, like, it's not that it bothers me, it just gives me chills, because I usually have sharp nails, so I don't really pick the pages apart easily.
You gotta turn the page, wash your hands. Turn the page, wash your hands.
So, I would, like, turn the page, and if I, like, didn't turn it, like, you know, separate them, or, like, pick them apart, it would just make that noise, and I just, so I usually just, like, have go through a notebook months later and just be flipping through it and find a blank page, and I'm just like, fuck.
So, where would you one day like to live?
I don't know, really. It's comfortable here in Virginia, and fucking weather scares me to death, so...
Right.
I don't know. I think I'd be happy living just about anywhere as long as I was with someone I loved.
And the last question here, if you had a choice, how long would it take you to respawn after you died?
Freaking immediately.
Immediately.
It depends, though. Because, like, let's say you're playing Left 4 Dead and you died and you had a chance to respawn, I would gladly wait, like, a minute just to let the horde die out and go away.
Right.
But in a game where, like, you have a respawn point, it'd be like, just let me go immediately. That way I can get back to where I was. Like Minecraft. Just let me respawn immediately. Don't load. Don't do anything. Just take me back. That way I can go back and get my stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, I can absolutely see that. And the thing is, like, you kind of just combined all of the answers that I've gotten so far. Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that about rounds out our show for today. I want to thank my wonderful, amazing guest, Bunny, for being here today. You've been fantastic, my dear.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to plug?
Not really. I'm not a pluggy person.
Head over to her Tumblr page. It will be in the link down in the description below. She has a RedBubble page where you can go and buy things from her. Please go buy all of her stuff so that she can have plenty of money when we go to RTX. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching this on youtube.com/Tim Leftwich. My name is Tim Leftwich. You've been watching Tim Tries. No, they haven't. They've been watching Tim Talks. And as always, we'll see you next time.